Hello, hello! Let me, as always, check the audio to see if everything is good. Okay, the music's still a little bit loud. Okay, there we go. It should be all fine now. So, hello everybody, it's your biggest Bobotler driver of the season here. My name is Kirklin and welcome back to another GRS race where today we are tackling a track where the first ever Grand Prix was held back in 1950. If you don't know it, you're not a true F1 or motorsports fan, but it is the British Grand Prix held at the Silverstone circuit. A very famous track with a lot of changes over the course of its lifetime, but this layout has 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right, along with 2 DRS zones on the Beef Wellington Straight and the Hanger Straight. Lots of other famous corners with Abbey in turn 1, Cops in turn 9, Maggots and Beckett's in Chapel in turns 11, 12, 13 and 14, and of course Stove in 15, where the drivers will have to be careful to not burn their hands as they drive towards it and in the middle of it. The tires are right in the middle range of the C2 and C3 and C4, along with intermediates and wets available for today, and we cannot discount the British weather as it likes to switch around every couple of minutes, which hopefully will turn this race and sprint into an exciting event. Now, on to the standings, and we still have Stephen Beckwith leading with 46 points to his name, ahead of Corey McSweeney and Williams behind him on 86 points. Behind, we also have the two Alpines of John Hearn and Daryl Bradley, 63 and 62 points for both of them. Not having the best of times, Daryl Bradley having missed 2 rounds previously and now also missing another round, so Alpine will definitely be on the back end without his help with points, because we did see before Daryl Bradley is really fast. And yeah, Steven has a really nice lead, and we will have to wait and see if that is going to be extended over the course of today's event. In the Constructors, Williams is leading by 3 points to McLaren. Previously, it was 8 points, so slowly but surely McLaren have closed that gap and will hopefully and maybe pass them in today's race. We shall see. We cannot discount the consistency of the Williams, as they, in all tiers, seemingly are scoring very consistent points, which is granting them first place overall. In the overall constructor standings. So that is going to be a very nice battle to watch out for. Aston Martin in the middle of nowhere, just like in real life, in P3. 37 points behind, and then we have a huge battle behind with the Racing Bulls, Red Bull, Kick Sauber, Haas, Alpine, Ferrari, and Mercedes for P4 in the standings. So that's also going to be a battle to watch out for, because one of these teams can get a good result and it's immediately gonna bump them up. So that is a nice battle to watch. But I think we are already heading into the sprint qualifying session, and as I've already mentioned twice now, today's event is going to be a little bit different because it is going to be the second and final sprint race of the season, and what that means is that we are going to have a short sprint qualifying session, which is 12 minutes. That is going to set the grid for the sprint, and then we're going to have another qualifying session after the sprint, the normal qualifying session, 18 minutes. That is going to set the grid for the main race. Again, 50% of the real life race, so we're going to have 27 laps, if I remember correctly, in this race, as it usually is. And as you can hear, I am not sick, but I basically have this condition for some reason that I just caught for a month and a half. It's been like that last year where nothing really could help me, and it's happening this year as well. So I apologize in advance if your ears are going to be gone over the course of the today's race and the commentary. So you have to deal with it as much as I have to deal with it. But we do have some overcast conditions in the sprint qualifying session, so we could be on the brink of a dry and wet session, but currently it seems to be pretty dry. People heading out on the medium, it seems. So perhaps it is just gonna stay dry, because usually if it is changeable conditions and it is raining at the end of the session or very early on in the session, you wanna use softs instantly to make the best lap time as quickly as possible, because you're not gonna be able to do that if you go onto the mediums. So it seems that we are gonna have a dry session. The first people out, actually, on track are the two Mercedes of Adam Lapage, the team principal, and Connor Hawken, a newly signed. This is going to be his fourth race, I believe, for the Mercedes team. Not having the best of luck this season, but there are reasons for that, as he has acquired the new Fanatic wheel, if I remember correctly. I think it's from Fanatic. So it does take some getting used to from going from a pad to a wheel. And the learning curve, as he found out, is very steep. So it has taken him a few races to get accustomed to it, but he has raced in a lot of the tiers in this league, racing a lot of times in tier 1 as well, so he's gaining a lot of experience learning it as quickly as possible. And it's proving to be very good. His qualifying pace usually is pretty good, qualifying in usually top 3 or top 5 positions, but the problem is the consistency over the course of the entire race, which he still needs to work on. But speaking of that, we are going to go on board with him for the first lap of the sprint qualifying session, and I will give you a little bit of a track guide on how to do this track, even though I haven't done it on this game yet, but here goes nothing. As you go into turn 18 flat out, starting his lap, you don't want to go fully to the left side of the track, because you can see the Mercedes bouncing fully, going to the flat right-hander and left-hander of turn 1 and 2, braking around 70 meters, going into turn 3 village, and then braking very blindly for 4 and 5 flat out. DRS for the Beef Wellington straight. Now I'm getting a little bit hungry. Going into this corner, which I do not know the name of. I think around 50 meters is good, but we do see the Mercedes overshooting it slightly. Staying in 4th, perhaps even in 3rd if you want extra rotation, but 4th is best for the traction out of that corner. Going into turn 9, one of the most famous corners of the track, Cop's Corner. Flat out in this game. In real life it's a little lift, but it's so satisfying when you get it right, which we do see the Mercedes doing so, staying in 7th. Maggots, Beckets and Chapel, the first two parts, flat out, little lift and downshift for the Mercedes for Chapel there. Opening the DRS for the hanger straight, using a little bit of ERS, but you need to save it for the final section of the track before the chicane. Stove corner, 6th gear. You can also use 5th gear if you want extra rotation. 100 to 80 meters going into the final chicane. 16, 17, little backhand snap for the Mercedes in 17 exit. Turn 18 flat out, and it is going to be a 128.0 for a banker lap, as Adam Lapage is only 78 thousandths behind. Very good provisional bankers on the medium tires for the two Mercedes. Behind we did see an Alpine, I think, starting a lap, as we do see a Mercedes spinning goes the clippage. But a lot of people just starting their laps, I believe. Lucas Hode starting it, and Alpine starting it. Callum Morris, the also newly appointed Williams driver, his 3rd race or 4th of the season in F2. Big demoted from F1, now in the high ends of F2. Harrison Moore takes provisional pole, but the Aston Martin driver is on soft, so that was to be expected with the additional grip that the softs provide. You usually see around a 4 to 6 tenths gain in the tire difference because of the big jump from the middle tire allocation from the C3 and C4s. So the softs do provide a lot more grip, and we are going to see them being used by everyone very, very soon. Corey McSweeney, the person fighting for the championship alongside Stephen Beckowitz, P6. Speaking of McLaren, provisional pole for Andy Kong, the team principal, 127.903. So very good lap time to beat a soft runner with, which is very nice. But again, loses the back end going into Village. We do see a lot of people losing their car in that section, so that is going to be a very fascinating corner to look for in the race to see if people are going to make mistakes. And if they are doing them now, I think that is to be expected. The Alpine of Jack, Cocaine P8, 28.5, definitely a lot of time to improve. Steven Trobin, I think that is. I honestly don't remember who this is. This is an F3 driver reserving for today. I think this is Stephen Jordan, P11, his team principal, Lucas Holtz, P13, and finally the Ferrari of George Parr, welcoming him back after not racing for a few races in P13, 130.2, definitely made a mistake somewhere, and is going for another lap with Mitch Snape in the Kick Sauber 129.1. A second off of the pole time with Steven Bekovic. I completely missed it. The current championship leader setting provisional pole on the mediums. So very nice lap time there. Not a huge gap to his teammate and people behind. So there is a lot of time to gain. Definitely. But usually how this track is formed, you don't really have a lot of places where you can gain time. And to explain it a little bit more, I think the only places where you can really gain time are, of course, in the first sector, the very twisty section of corners in the village. And then I would say the only big marginal gain that you can see is in the beginning of Sector 2, I don't know those corner names, and then the final chicane of 16 and 17. Those places for me are the only places where you can gain marginal amounts of time, while in the other corners you gain slight improvements if you can make them correctly. But in very fast speed corners like Maggots, Beckets, and Chapel, the soft tires are going to make quite a huge difference, as you can take them with more throttle and higher kph, so of course you're gonna be faster. So it's gonna be fascinating to see the amount of improvements, but I am gonna sense that it is gonna be around half a tenth of an improvement. I think the provisional time, or the provisional pole lap time, is gonna be around the 27.3 range, and if anyone's gonna beat that, I'm gonna be fully impressed. So it's gonna be very, very fascinating to see. I am getting messages that I need to invite somebody. Not him. That is Jake Armstrong. I need to invite Luis. I do not have him, so he has to join another way. Or he can send me an EA invite. It's my name, Kikrlin, Kikrlin to spell it. So, chocolate. Do I have him? I didn't see that he was online. Where is he? Oh, there he is. I'm blind. I'm sorry. I am blind. There we go. Invite sent. And hopefully he is gonna join. Okay. Final laps are gonna be on the horizon, as we do have 3 minutes left of the qualifying session. As you do see, kind of a dangerous rejoin there by Adam Bradshaw and Haas. Again, along with Callum Morris and Connor Hawken, newly signed to Haas. This is going to be his third race for the American team. His team principal currently sitting in P13, hitting into the pits. Not good showing from Haas over the course of the entire season. In this tier, I think they're about 9th or 8th in the Constructors. I know that Mercedes are last. I don't know who else is above. But over the course of all of the tiers, Haas has really not shown a lot of promise, even with having... I think they had first picks of the driver draft, so... Definitely showing that they haven't made good decisions with the driver moves, but we do still have 3 to 4 races left until the end of the season, so anything can change. Stuff can still change. Maybe they can bump themselves up a little bit to get better picks, or maybe just stay in P9 so they can get good picks again for next season. Season 9, which I think we're gonna have the same system probably. I do not know. We will have to wait and see when that information is gonna be available. But we are gonna go on board with Adam Bradshaw now, the house driver, one of the only people to not set a time yet in this qualifying session, along with Lewis, who has joined in the Red Bull. So let's see what the house is gonna be able to do. Behind them we do have a McLaren, so hopefully they won't be getting the effects of dirty air. Basically what dirty air is, if you're stuck behind a car behind in the corners, basically you don't have clean air, and you're not gonna be able to take corners exactly as you would with clean air if no one was ahead. So basically you have less downforce, but less drag as well, giving you more straight line speed. But for twisty sections like Sector 1 and 3, you really don't want the dirty air. But for straights like the Beef Wellington straight and the Hanger straight, you want that. You want the slipstream because it hugely improves your straight line speed and will gain you a lot of time. Purple Sector 1 for Adam Bradshaw there in Sector 1. I think the game is just fine. It loves to do that. For sectors, usually how the game calculates it, a purple sector is when the driver is setting his personal best and not over the course of the entire session, how it should be. But it is his personal best. Mitch Snape goes to the top of the times, but I do think that he is the first one on the softs. With Harry Swanwick more 7/10 of an improvement with used softs. Callum Morris takes provisional pole from the Aston Martin. Very good time there from the Williams driver, trying to extend their championship lead into constructors. But we are on board with Adam Bradshaw still. Let's see what lap time he is going to be able to do. I think it is going to be in the 26s. No, it is just barely not in the 26s. It is going to be a 27.0. But Steven Becco is... Lord Almighty, 26.6, 2/10 of an improvement over his team principal in P2. McLaren showing dominance, just like in real life. But in real life they make stupid decisions, so let's hope that they don't do them today. As we do have a Mercedes of Connor Hawken gonna cross the line, 6/10 of an improvement, currently gets to 9/10 of an improvement, puts himself into P4, very nice position there, but could have been P3 by just a few thousandths. An Alpine driver of John Ahern puts himself into P8, a RB of Lucas Oates, team principal, putting himself in P5. Very good position for the RB driver. Jack Cocaine behind his teammate, 80 thousandths behind the Ferrari of George Barr, P12. The other RB driver of Stephen Osterman, or Stephen Trobben, in P11. Not gonna be happy with that, but he is driving in F3, so still not the worst position. Lewis crosses the line, no time set as the lap was invalid. Corey McSweeney goes into the pits, doesn't improve, and I think that is gonna be everyone with Harry Swanwick more crossing the line, but that was a slow lap. So it is going to be a McLaren 1-2 for the sprint. Very, very dominant showing there. 2/10 of a gap from Steven to Andy, and then another 2/10 from Andy to Adam Bradshaw. Very good showing there by the McLarens, showing that the fight for the constructors is definitely on, as there is only 3 points of difference. But are they going to be able to stay there is the main question. We will have to wait and see. With Adam Bradshaw alongside Connor Hawken sharing the second row of the grid, Luke Toads, Callum Morris P5, P6, Harris Swanwick more, Mitch Snape P7, P8, John Ahern P9, alongside Jack Cocaine. Stephen Trobben alongside Corey McSweeney on the 6th row of the grid, George Parler, Zach Lepich P13, 14, Backlick, and Harvey Conway on the 8th row of the grid, with Lewis, the only person to not set a time, last in P17. So, very fascinating qualifying session there. It was actually quite close if you don't count the top 2 drivers of the McLarens. Behind from top 3 to like P10 was very, very close. which hopefully is gonna prove to make also an exciting race, which we do see the same conditions as in this rain qualifying session, overcast. So we will have to wait and see if it is going to be raining or not, just like in sprint quali. If everyone's going to be on soft, then I think we will see maybe rain at the end, because yesterday in F3, if anyone was watching that race, we did see the mediums being the most optimal tire as the softs were wearing out way too quickly, and they already lost quite a bit of performance compared to the mediums in the middle stage of the sprint. So it is going to be fascinating to see what the drivers are going to choose, but I am betting it's going to be half-half. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. While I really drink my tea, which is not making me any better, but it is what it is. We are gonna have a 9-lap shootout here. So no pit stops are mandatory. You can just go full flat out. Safety cars are still gonna be enabled, so if anyone makes a mistake or has damage, they are gonna be able to pit. But yeah, stops are not mandatory. So basically, it's gonna be a flat out shootout. As we are gonna go on board with everyone, 5 red lights, and we are on the way for the sprint in the a Silverstone circuit. It seems that Steven Bekovic has gotten a really nice start there. A lot of people on the softs, it seems. Only 4 people choosing the medium tires, and it is showing quite a bit of benefit with the starts, especially behind. We do have people side by side. Lucas Holtz and Connor Hawkins side by side behind. Also Callum going into the mix with this battle. People going fully wide. I think that is Stephen Chobin and Corey McSweeney going fully wide there. Probably pushing each other out. We did not fully see that incident behind. Harrison Nickmore trying to make some positions on Jonah Hearn. But nearly making contact with the Alpine on the outside line. But overall, everyone's been taking it quite safe, not going side by side into cops, being very smart. You don't want to go side by side there, as anyone who's seen 2021 before. But yeah, overall, it has been quite a safe start. Not counting, of course, Stephen Chopin and Corey McSweeney behind, going fully wide, but they are still in this little train, closing in, while we do see a positions change. Lucas holds down the inside into Stove on the Hasdriverov and Bradshaw, and makes it stick. You can see the difference in tires instantly there, but a little bit of time needs to pass, and those mediums are going to be definitely faster. Very, very soon. As Steven Bekovic is the current leader of the race, of the sprint race, should I say. 8/10 of a gap to his team principal. So already showing quite a bit of pace, but the DRS is enabled after the first lap, so that gap is gonna slowly be closing in, as Steven showing a lot of pace in the traction zone, especially at the exit of the village and turn 4 and 5, going on to the B for Wellington Straight. And that is gaining him quite a bit of time. Andy Kong didn't gain any time with the DRS, now outside of the DRS, behind 1 second, but we are watching Connor Hawken making the move on Adam Bradshaw, but lifting off slightly before Cobbs, not wanting to go side by side there. Very smart move, like I said before. But you could have someone like Mitch, who in season 5 or 6, I believe, made a switch back into Cops. There is a short of that move, I believe, on the channel. You can check it out after this stream. It was an incredible move by the Sauber driver, currently in P11. We are going to have to wait and see if he's going to make any moves. Speaking of moves, we are watching Jonah Hearn down the inside of Harrison Nickmore, who has some sort of front wing end plate missing on the left side of that Aston Martin. Presumably made contact with someone before. Steven Beckley is another fastest lap. Yellow flags behind the teammate of Harrison Nickmore, Daniel Buckley, also reserving for today in the F3 driver, spinning round, and is currently last. Actually, not final points main position, but P10 Lewis starting last, currently P10, having a really nice comeback there from the Red Bull, still side by side into turn 5 with the Alpine driver of Jack O'Kane, but has a little bit of slipstream from the other Alpine driver. Pushing fully wide on the outside line is Lewis. And he's still not gonna make this move stick. This could be 3 wide between the two Alpines and the Red Bull. The Red Bull around the outside into Cops. Fully pushing as we see Harrisonic more and contact between the two Alpines. How did Harry just do that? How did he spin? I didn't see that he made any contact with anyone, so he just fully spun on his own as we see side by side. Another impressive move there, and impressive drive currently by the team principal of Haas. Harvey Conway starting 16th, I believe, or 15th, and going to P9. Very impressive stuff there. Mitch Snape and George Barr side by side making contact into the final chicane, ghosting from the Red Bull Lewis there. And everyone makes that move stick and overtakes him. As side by side, the Red Bull and Jack O'Kane, it is a move done there. As we see Connor Hawken spins! We spoke a little bit about his consistency early on in the session, and it just shows there, as I said before. But we do have 3 wide going into or onto the Beef Wellington straight, going into, I don't know what this corner is. I previously called it Spoon in one of my commentaries 2 years ago, so I'm gonna call it Spoon again. So going into Spoon, 3 wide between Callum Morris, Alan Bradshaw and Andy Kong. Fascinating stuff there. There was a little bit of contact between Andy Kong and Anna Bradshaw, but nothing came of it, surprisingly. By the way, I know that corner is not called Spoon. Spoon is the corner in Japan, the very fast left-hander in Sector 2, but I'm gonna call it Spoon, so you will have to bear with it, because I don't know the name. And it seems we need to do another invite. Sort your internet out, Luis. That is all I can say, but invite has been sent. Around the outside goes Adam Bradshaw. Also one beneficiary is Andy Kong. Tried to go for a move there, but backed out of it. But still has the inside line going into turn 1 into Abbey, I believe this is. Had a nice line, but Williams seems to get a lot more speed from turn 1, probably because the track there is quite bumpy, and the McLaren experienced the bumpiness, losing him quite a bit of speed, and Callum was able to stay ahead of him, so it's very good. I'm getting information that this is called Luffield, so into Luffield, Callum Morris and Andrew Bradshaw making slight contact there at the exit, and it seems another invite. It needs to be sent. Like I said, sort your internet out. You are gonna get an internet warning if you do this. This is a nice camera angle going into Cops. Still staying behind is Callum Morris, waiting for DRS. The DRS detection point has been passed. As you can see it on the map, it's the green circle. It works if you are inside of the 1 second range of the car ahead. You are gonna get the DRS. As you can see, the rear ring is opened. That little flap is gonna give you more straight line speed. On the straight, as you can see, Callum Morris used that to his advantage and made a move around the outside, going into Stove. And that's basically how DRS works. If you have that opened, however, in the corners, that is basically calling upon your death. So you don't want to have that. As we see Andy Kong making a little bit of a mistake, making contact with, I think that was Adam Bradshaw, and he has been overtaken by John Ahern and Harvey Conway, Harvey Conway starting 15th and now 6th in the points positions is amazing stuff there from the Haas team principal, as now John Ahern makes a mistake going fully wide over the track, losing 3 positions in the process, nearly another one, but he actually does lose another one to the Ferrari of George Parr, moving to P8. If you don't know how points positions work in the sprint, it's from P1 to P8 as follows: 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think you get the fastest lap point in the sprint, but I could be mistaken. It could very possibly be that you do, because we have in the league We do give fast attack points if you're outside the top 10, so... But I don't know if it's like that in sprint. There is a high possibility that you also do get a point, but... I do not know. We do not have too many sprints to know for certain, or to remember. As you see, a move again down the inside. Callum Morris on Adam Bradshaw there, still going side by side into the chicane, 16 and 17. Bradshaw having the inside line. Through goes Hamilton moment from Harvey Conway, touching the curb, nearly killing himself and his teammate in the process, and giving Callum Morris that position back. A very, very nice move there from Harvey, but unfortunately lost that position behind. We do see in the wing mirror Andy Kong trying to move down the inside, going into village. Exit of turn 5, slight contact there with the rear wheel of Harvey Conway, but nothing happened of it. If this was real life, the car would be flying, but thankfully this is not real life, to some benefit and to some disadvantages. As we do see behind, the Ferrari losing the back end of the car, losing a position to the other Alpine driver of Jonah Hearn. This battle is insanity, as I think we are seeing side by side between Jack O'Kane and Andy Kong, and they survived somehow. As that is going to give the opportunity behind for Jonah Hearn to also try and make a move. Still side by side into Maggots and Beckett. And Chappell switched back from Andy Kong in Chappell, but didn't get that much straight line speed, as I think we might see it 4 wide going into Stove. This is gonna end in carnage, but somehow it hasn't. The two Alpines going side by side behind Andy Ferrari, and Andy Kong going side by side into Stove, as I think George Party is gonna take that position. 3 positions in 1 corner. Very fascinating stuff there by the Ferrari driver. A penalty there by Harvey Conway ahead. Gonna lose him so many positions, fully discouraging his work that he's been doing so far. But the only advantage that he has is that he's outside of the DRS, and never mind. He just fully screwed his race over by going for a very audacious dive bomb, which was never on the cards. That is your own fault, I would say. But I would need to see that incident again, because we didn't really see it fully, because the camera angle was not switched in time. So later on, I'm gonna have to see it, of course, and I can already see about 20 incidents getting reported here. F2 not making my life easy, and my mentality. Definitely they don't care about my mentality. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun again. But we are seeing a switch in positions for the podium positions. Callum Morris into Cops, overtaking the Haas driver of Adam Bradshaw. And that move actually brings the cars behind back into today's battle. George Barr in P5 could make another double move on these cars. Oh my god, that straight line speed on the Ferrari, man, is amazing, as we do see Andy Kong going straight off the track, as fully side by side, 3 wide into the final, 4 wide into the final chicane. Andy Kong, massive dive bomb. What is happening there? What is everyone doing? What is this tier, man? What am I watching? Again, 3 wide into Abbey and the exit of turn 2. I am at a loss for words. Mitch Snape somehow gets into points. Adam Lapage gets spun by contact behind. Also, the Williams of Corey also ghosting for some unknown reason. The 2 Alpines somehow have benefited again and gotten themselves high in positions. What is this sprint? I did say that you can just fully go flat out, but calm yourselves down, lads. This is just uncalled for. 3 wide into Cops, what are you doing? That's gonna end in carnage. Somehow it didn't. How? How are people going 4 wide into freaking Stove, 3 wide into the final chicane? How is everyone surviving? I'm so confused. People who were in good positions now are last. Let's look at a little bit of calm as Steven Bekovic is gonna take the sprint win of today's Silverstone Grand Prix. Behind him, Lucas Hod's also very clean race, no carnage from the RB team principal P2 as well. Jack O'Kane somehow, out of nowhere, being in P7 and 8th position, somehow gets a podium. And behind Callum Morris gets P3. Behind it you see Harrison more fully crashing into the wall alongside someone else. Callum Morris P4, Andy Kong P5, Adam Bradshaw P6. Mitch Snape, out of nowhere, being in last positions all the time, somehow P7 gets 2 points for Sauber. Very, very impressive drive there from the Sauber driver. I did not see he was in P8, but game gives George Parr the driver of the day role. It is John Hearn final points paying position. Harrison Neckmore P9. Stephen Chobin P10. George Parr P. How did the game give George Parr driver of the day when Jack O'Kane started 10th and finished 3rd? How is he not the driver of the day in this? Or, for example, Lucas Odes or Steven for a very dominant drive again. I'm baffled a little bit. Anyways, George Power P11, Corey McSweeney P12, Zeke Lapich P13, Connor Hawken P14, Harvey Conway after a very impressive sprint, fully down in P15, Lewis in P16, and Bakalik in P17. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm at a loss for words. What did I just watch? That was probably one of the most insane races this season. Or the most insane final couple of laps that I've seen in this tier. And I've been commentating here and in other leagues in some time, and that's, I think, some of the craziest stuff I've seen. No words can literally explain it other than wow. Just wow. Just wow. I'm impressed. I'm more impressed how everyone stayed alive. Everyone stayed alive. There were some front wing end plates missing from some cars, but other than that, everyone stayed alive. Somehow they made contact, but didn't fully spin somehow. Until the end, we did see like Harrison Neckmore crash into the wall, and I think it was one of the Mercedes also crash into the wall. I'm not sure. But speaking of Mercedes, another Mercedes is again out. It is Adam Lepage again on the medium tires. Which is fascinating. I didn't know that in the sprint format, that you would have another medium in the main qualifying session, but it seems that you do. It's probably a medium and 2 softs, how it's allocated. So, but that are not new. I don't fully know the allocations in the sprint format. I sort of know in the normal format. I think it's like, because you can change it, but the balanced one, I think for this format that we have a short qualified and main race, you have 3 sets of softs and a medium for qualifying, and then a additional, compared to what you choose, an additional medium or hard or soft, but the balanced is an additional medium tire. So yeah, very fascinating. Now, I've been thinking again of beef Wellington straight, and now I'm getting a little bit hungry. I should have ate a little bit more before this commentary. My concentration is probably not going to be on the highest level because of that. But it is what it is. As we are going to go on board with the first lap of the normal qualifying session there, with Adam Lepage nearly invalidating at the exit of turn 18. As it said, flat out into Abbey, right-hander, flat out left-hander, braking at 70 meters, he brakes at 60, and you can see him going deep, so you already see that it was way too late with braking, and locking up as well. Staying in third, very nice exit there off of turn 4 and turn 5. The RS opened for the Beef Wellington straight, getting some slipstream from a Haas there, stationary before Luffield, and actually going to third for extra rotation, but short shifting to fourth for the better traction. So far, looking pretty clean lap. I wouldn't say it's the fastest lap I've seen, but it is certainly quite clean. Staying in 8th for cops. Normally you see people going to 7th because of the speed you lose at the exit of cops. In 7th you just gain it slightly quicker, but it seems that's not the case for the Mercedes driver. Very nice Baggett's Chapel. Good exit as well onto the Hangar Straight. Stove staying in 6th. That line was a bit too early of a turn in going there. The final chicane again too deep for the Mercedes driver. Very easy on the throttle there for a solid exit, and it is a 28.0 as a current banker. Harrison more easily beats that with a 127.777. Putting him on provisional pole. Harvey Conway, 128.4. Next across the line is his teammate starting a lap, so nothing of that. Bakalik on the softs, another provisional pole time of a 27.6, but it is the softs, so it is to be expected. Behind, let's see if anyone is going to finish their laps. I think that is our Trobin invalidating, so he is definitely going to go again. The other Mercedes driver of Conor Hocken crossing the line, puts himself in front of his teammate by 2 tenths, currently in P3. The Alpine driver of Jack O'Kane, P6, 28.8 behind him. T-Kick Sauber of Mitch Snape is on another lap, as it seems that he has invalidated. He's going to want to show a little bit more, showing a very good promise in the sprint race, and he will want to carry that into the main race. So let's see if he's going to be able to do that. Callum Morris, P5, 128.1 for the Williams driver, as the other one goes into the pits. Corey McSweeney. Lucas Odes on Inters doing a lap. Usually you see people do an out lap and then go straight in, but maybe he's trying to preserve some of his compounds, so he's doing a full lap on the Inters. I do not know, as Adam Bradshaw is going to go into the pits. I thought that he got slipstream from Harvey Conway, but it seems that is not the case, as he is going to start another lap. Behind, actually, I think the Aston Martins, no, they are going into the pits, so nothing is going on there. John Ahern is going to start his lap. And yes, fascinating stuff. A lot of people seemingly invalidating their laps or making mistakes, which is quite common when you have a format like this. When you have a short or when you have a sprint quali, then a sprint, and then a normal quali and normal race, you can see quite a big difference in the performance and consistency of the driver because of how the car is set up and how much fuel you have in the car. Because in sprint quali, you're basically doing quali runs, and then you get accustomed to that, and then going into the sprint, you get accustomed to running on sort of high fuel, 10 laps of fuel to get to the end, so you get used to that, and then going into qualifying yet again, you have to get used to again running on quali fuel and quali performance. And then you have another dilemma of setup changes, because it's like in real life, I think, where Parc Fermé is enabled, but you are able to make some tweaks before going on to your first lap of the quali session, so you can make some final tweaks if you feel like you had some understeer, oversteer, losing the back end, are locking up too much, as we see John Hearn going provisional pole. You can tweak that before going out in this qualifying session, and then after that you cannot change it. So then you have to get accustomed to that, and then later again you have to get accustomed to 28th lap of fuel in the car. So the sprint format really is a patience game, and how quickly you can get accustomed to. So basically your control of the car, your adaptability, that's the word I was looking for. Your adaptability is the main focus in this format. and of course consistency to still be able to provide qualifying laps to be challenging for the top, and then to be consistent in the races as well. So it is very difficult. Some people would think that it's not difficult. It is quite difficult to get all of that in order and to be perfect in all of the sessions, which normally you cannot be perfect. There are only certain individuals that have achieved that in real life, and it is very difficult to do that, to be consistent. But yeah, that is my opinion on the sprints. The current format, I think, is fine. Quali into sprint, then quali into race. I think it's fine. I personally think that the 2021 version we had with a qualifying to set the sprint and then the sprint to set the race, I think that was better, because for me the sprint just doesn't really have that big of an impact in real life, at least. It really doesn't. Which makes sense. They are kind of going in that direction by having the sprint be separate to the race, and because of that, I can see how this format works. But I don't know. It can definitely be made better, but I'm not the person to ask for how to make this better. But if you look at F2, maybe they can take some advice from F2, where they switch around the top 10 positions from the normal qualifying session, and then that grid is in the sprint, which I think would be very, very, very fun. I think that would be incredible. Or maybe have a full reverse grid. Maybe a full reverse grid like the... Because the main qualifying session would still matter. The main qualifying would still matter for the main race, where you gain the most amount of points, so you want to qualify as high as possible. But then in the sprint, because it's quite low points, you have a reverse grid with... Imagine the Saubers starting in P1. That would be amazing. Like, I think reverse grids would provide a lot of entertainment. It would be incredibly chaotic, but since F1 is currently trying so many things out, I think it would be a fun idea to try out, like a full-on reverse grid, or maybe a championship reverse grid, like whoever is last starts first, whoever is first starts last, and blah blah, stuff like that. It could be something to look out for, and like I said, because they're trying a lot of stuff out, I think it could be a very solid idea. Try it for like one race and then see what happens. Because that's basically kind of what sprints are. Just they're really experimenting a lot of stuff with the sprints. But yeah, that is my opinion on sprints. They can definitely be made better, but I'm not the person to ask for that, because if I would be able to make changes, I would not want to make any changes, because I know that my changes would be horrendous and no one would like them. So yeah, that is it. As we see on board with the other McLaren driver, his teammate on the mediums was on provisional pole with a 27.3, which is amazing lap on the mediums, but Andy Gong pole position there on the softs by a full 10th. So yeah, I want to hear other people's opinions on that, on the sprints, how they feel about it, because I think it's a very fascinating debate. And while we're on the topic of that, what are people's predictions for the main race? You saw the sprint and how chaotic it was. Who is everyone's top 3 today for the main race? I would say that my top 3 are probably going to be... Again, Steven Bekovic. I think he just is gonna start on pole and then get ahead of everyone. Second... Who do I want to put second? I'm gonna go bold, because Adam Bradshaw's been crashing quite a bit in the races, but I'm gonna go bold. I think Adam Bradshaw is gonna finish second, Corey McSweeney third. That is my top 3. And now that's gonna be very good commentator scores. Adam Bradshaw is gonna spin in turn 1, or he's gonna spin on lap 1 overall. Now that I've jinxed him, it's gonna be fun. FYI, Steven outscores Corey by 18 points in the main race. He wins the title. Is that an F3? What do you mean? Ah, Steven. For some reason, I was thinking Steven Chobin. For some reason, I thought of him. But that is very fascinating. So, Steven already has, or Steven Bekovic already has a chance for a title if he outscores Corey by 18 points. That is gonna be fun. Well, I predicted Corey in P2, so that's not gonna happen in this race, but next race it could be possible. It could be possible. All is to play for, as we see the other the Mercedes driver of Connor Hawken, outside of the track. Stephen, Corey, and Callum. Close to what I did. I think, Stephen, Bradshaw, and then Corey. So, very close. I think it just shows how Stephen's been fully dominant in this season and consistent. Well, dominant not as much, but just fully consistent in the races. I think his consistency to be clean, safe, and fast at the same time really shows with the huge gap that he has in the GRS Championship, which, if I remember, is 46 points. And if he can win it in this race, that is going to be a GG situation. Very, very good performance there by Steven. We'll just have to wait and see. And I think this is his debut season as well. I think this is his first season overall in this league, so even more impressive by the McLaren driver. I don't remember if he was already locked in for next season in the McLaren. I don't think so, because there are rumors that Steven is not going to drive next season, which are very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. We'll have to wait and see if those are going to be true. It is going to be a big shame if he's not going to race next season, because he is a very nice person, a very quick person as well, and it would be nice to see him race in future seasons. He is a very fun person to watch race and to commentate on. But yeah, let's go a little bit on board with a lap, because we've been debating a lot of things lately in this whole qualifying session, mainly because we've already had a qualifying session and it's basically the same process. So let's go on board with George Park, currently, thankfully not being blocked by people heading out of the pits, not being distracted by them as well. The lines currently being pretty solid. Left field, actually, very, very nice there. A little bit too deep at the exit of turn 7. I think that's gonna lose him a little bit of time. Turn 8, of course, is flat. Going into Cops, there is a car ahead, hopefully gonna move out of the way into Maggots and Beckett's, and they will. The Alpine driver moves away. Very nice Cops there, 7th gear. Using 7th at the exit of Maggots, or entry of Maggots, should I say. Using 5th, doesn't have a lot of ERS to use anymore on the hangar straight, which is gonna lose him a little bit of time. When you're in 11% of ERS management, the usage overall is lessened, so his performance is gonna be quite down because of that. So that is probably gonna lose him a 10th or 2. Bit squirmy on the exit of the final chicane, but still good enough for provisional pole. 27.1, the Alpine behind. Starts a lap. Steven Bekovic on a lap, I believe, and that was Andy Kronk starting 1. But let's see who's going to be next across the line. Zik Lapage from leaving the session, finishing quite low in the sprint. P1 currently, very good showing there by the Mercedes for a nice comeback. Corey McSweeney, P4, the other Mercedes driver starting a lap, not finishing, and it is gonna be Stephen Chobin starting a lap as well. Harvey Conway as well. There we go. Harrison Nick Moore puts himself with P4. That rhymes, that is very nice. As Calamores goes into P2 for Williams, Mitch Snape next across the line, improving by 6 tenths, nearly 7 tenths, but doesn't improve too much in positions, putting himself into P10, only 3 thousandths ahead of Daniel Bakalik. Championship leader Steven Beckovic is in the McLaren, improving by 7.5 tenths already. Is he gonna even more extend that gap in this final chicane, final sector? He does, 26.5. I think we should have already expected that, as that is a provisional pole. I don't think anyone's gonna beat that. George Park heads into the pits. He's not gonna improve. John Hearn next across the line improves by a tenth. Lost quite a bit of time in the final sector and goes there. Andy Kong from out of nowhere actually beats his teammates. That's actually very impressive. He was he did a .8 in sprint quali and somehow found 3 tenths in this qualifying session. So very good stuff there from the team principal. Connor Hawke in P3, Mercedes also finding pace out of nowhere. Very good showing in this qualifying session for them as well. Lucas Oates puts himself in P7. Harvey Conway goes into P13. I just did not see what happened. Was that the Aston Martin just going out of the way for the Williams of Corey? Or Callum? I do not know what happened there. That was fascinating, just going fully on the grass. But there's gonna be another McLaren front row lockout again. McLaren just... I can't say qualifying merchants, because they also do well in the race. Andy Kong, I would say, is just slightly unlucky in the races, because he normally has the pace to finish in the podium positions or in the top 5 places, but it just gets caught out and gets involved in incidents, unfortunately. But he does have the pace to stay in those positions, and then Steven just consistency overwhelming everything. But like I said, it is another McLaren front row lockout. Behind second row is the Mercedes. Very good qualifying from them. Adam Bradshaw P5, Callum Morris P6, third row of the grid. Lucas Oates P7, George Parr P8, Harrison McMorr P9, Corey McSweeney P10, Jack Cook in P11, John Hearn P12, Harvey Conway P13, Mitch Snape 14, Daniel Buckley P15, Steven Chobin 16, and Lewis as in set lap time again in this qualifying session, starting last. And he left like 5 times again. I think that is gonna be an internet warning for the Red Bull driver. Definitely, it should be. He needs to sort that out for next race. If he doesn't, he's gonna get another internet warning and he will not be eligible to race until he fixes it. So fix your problems. Fix your problems. That's all we can say, as we do have again overcast conditions, but it is now in the main race. So, like I said in the beginning of the stream, we cannot discount rain. This is British weather. It is very unpredictable, as probably a lot of the Brits in chat or whoever are racing knows. I actually wouldn't mind the British weather because I love rain. Rain is my favorite. Rain is amazing. I love rain. So I think I would do quite well in Britain. And I already have my new British nationality, because now I'm somehow from Liverpool. Don't ask me how, but now I have a house in Liverpool. People are probably not gonna like that, but if it gets me iRacing, I'm not gonna mind. I'm gonna live anywhere in England. If I get iRacing, I'm happy. But we do have 5 red lights, and we are on the way for the main race of the British Grand Prix. It is a very good start again from the McLarens as they go side by side into turn 1, both on the softs. Very interesting strategy there. I'm gonna say that we are gonna see some rain, as Steven Beckovic is under pressure from Connor Hawken there on the inside. going into turn 4, exit of turn 5, still side by side, leaving each other just enough space. And he stays in P2. Behind, I think we are also seeing some changes in position, but everyone's keeping it quite safe except for the Williams and Alpine behind, with ARB and Aston Martin also battling going into Luffield, with a 3 wide nearly at the exit of turn 7. And I think we might see side by side again it cops. Thankfully not, as Harrison Wickmore does back out of that position. And again, we do have it pretty safe. So yeah, very, very nice. Overall wide there for the Williams of Callum Morris, getting overtaken by George Parr, getting an advantage off of that mistake. Him not being able to defend for that move. Ahead, we have seen a switch in the lead. Steven Bekovic has taken it and is leading once again for the British Grand Prix in the main race this time. So now it's going to be up to Andy Kong to probably defend for his life. So Steven can extend this gap. Behind we see Harvey Conway going fully wide at the exit in turn 18. In the final point swing positions of P10, getting overtaken by Jack O'Kane on the outside line there, getting dive bombed by Mitch Snape as well, hugging that sausage curb on the inside, and you can see how unsettling that can be for the car, as he doesn't make that position even though he had the best place for it. But overall, thankfully this time it is proving to be safer than the sprint. People not risking it like it's their final race of their career. Going for incredible stupid moves. Maybe Mitch is gonna go for another switchback there. Does not, but I think we need to keep an eye out on that move, because he did it once, he can do it again. We cannot discount that from happening. But yeah, we'll see if that's gonna happen. Change in the lead. Well, once again, I didn't see Andy Kong was leading, but Adam Bradshaw retaking Zeke Lapage there down the inside into Stove, wearing gloves and being safe, not burning his hands on the inside. As actually fastest lap whiz by Adam Bradshaw there. On the mediums, so Adam Bradshaw showing quite a bit of pace. As I think that was contact, it was contact between Zeke Lapage and Adam Bradshaw. 3 wide going, that's gonna prove carnage. And it is 4 wide into the Beef Wellington straight, as Adam Bradshaw is now under pressure from George Parr. We did see the straight line speed in that Ferrari being incredible, as he does overtake the Haas, as Callum Morris dive bombed there on the Haas driver as well, making that overtake stick. Very nice move there. And here's Sonic Moore actually getting in this battle now, I think starting around P10 positions, currently sitting in P7, so showing pace for some pretty solid points. But we did see Harrison Wickmore bottle it quite a few times, so I don't think he's gonna stay in those positions. As you see, another bottle, as that was a lock of backhand, but he is staying ahead because of the slipstream of the Haas ahead, and that just shows you can both have DRS, but if you have slipstream, you're just making that move easily. Being pushed fully nearly off the track is the Haas driver, and through goes Hamilton once again. Is Harry Swanwick Moore. Okay. I'm not gonna reinstate my words, but that was a nice move. I gotta give him props to that. We did see something of the sort in the sprint as well. I forgot from whom, but that was a nice move. That was a nice move. And big contact there from Zeke Lapage into Lucas Odes. I wonder why, when there was no one on the inside. Probably just a mistake. 3 wide ahead, Adam Bradshaw, Callum Morris and Harrison Wickmore. Harry going a little bit too early in the turn-in, probably forgot that they're going 3 wide into Luffield. but thankfully nothing came of it as Adam Lapich switched back there on Lucas Hodes, making that move stick, but still side by side into Cops. Is he gonna wanna stay there? No, as now Adam Lapich somehow gained incredible speed on Harrisonic more, but did not make that move stick. Which was very dangerous, but somehow Harry saw him from a mile away and left just enough room on the inside. Has another switch in positions there, Calamoris overtakes and Backshaw. Now, this is very fascinating. Everyone here is losing a lot of time to people ahead, but I wanna talk a little bit about strategy. We do see some people on the softs and a lot of people on the mediums. Now, that could be a sign that we might see rain, as it is getting even more cloudy. I don't remember it being this cloudy in the beginning of the race. It was overcast, but this cloudy it was not. So either it is gonna be raining in a couple of laps time, or we are gonna see a easy one stop, medium to hard or soft to hard. Soft to hard, as Callum fully being pushed off the track nearly there, but still staying on the inside line. So this track actually has quite high tire degradation. You cannot really extend your tire life compared to other tracks like Las Vegas, where basically the tire wear is non-existent if you're on the hards. So strategy on this track is definitely incredibly important. But yeah, I am fascinated by the choice of softs, because you normally don't want to use that compound in any race. And no one is on the hards as well, which is why I think it could be raining. Harry trying to go for the same move he did before, making contact with the Haas, fully unsettling his car. Thankfully managed to save it. That's in a way how I lost my car in Las Vegas and lost so many good points. And Harry, that is very late dive bomb there. Behind also 3 wide. I heard big contact happening there. Mitch Snape trying to get himself in the points winning position like in the sprint. Let's have the inside line. He is not gonna make that position stick easily, as now he does have the outside line. That is a disadvantage line. If this was F123, you would have better grip because of the marbles offline, and you would be able to stay in that position, but this is 24 and marbles don't exist anymore. And you can literally drive however you want, which is why I think driving without line on this game is easier, because there aren't any marbles. I started learning no line on F123, and trust me, that was one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made, because it's even harder to learn line because you just can't even guess which is the correct line. You make a slight mistake of going off of the racing line and you're immediately punished for it. And because you're learning no line and you already don't know where you need to go and how to go, you're just screwed. It's the worst time to learn no line. And then I also learned no traction and no ABS on F122, which was also incredibly stupid, because traction was horrible on 22. So basically my mistakes of learning assists was brought on in the worst possible moments. So don't do what I did. I think this game actually is the best currently if you want to learn no assists, because I think it has a really nice balance. Traction is not that hard to get a handle of. You can make setup tweaks to assist you, same with ABS, and same with line. So I think if you are willing to go no assists in this game, go for it. It's not as difficult, but you still need to be patient to learn. But yeah, I might be sounding already a little bit down. My voice is already gone. Um, Probably because of screaming earlier in the sprint, and then my coughing is making stuff worse. So I'm trying not to be my aggressive self as I usually am. I'm trying to keep things calm. As we do see a move around the outside, this is gonna be a switchback by Mitch. No, we do see a yellow flag. George Parr spinning round, getting overtaken by Callum Morris. I didn't even see that George was in those kinds of positions. So props to him for being in there. But now made a mistake. Maybe in contact with Connor Hawken, I do not know. But now is in P5 contact. Speaking of contact, Adam Bradshaw and Harris Wonderick Moore making contact there. I believe both of them were ghosting. So I do not know what happened there, but we do see another move from Lucas Oates on George Parr. Now Harris Wonderick Moore wants to do that as well. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to make that stick. Harvey Conway on the minimap going fully wide into left field. Exit of left field. Or, I'm sorry, Spoon. I said I was gonna call it Spoon, so I'm gonna call it Spoon. But yeah, Connor Hawken actually having a pretty solid race in P3 on the point, on the podium positions. Not made any mistakes so far. So that is very nice to see, getting consistent. Quite quickly with his new wheel. And we're gonna have to wait and see if he's gonna see those positions. Contact behind between Adam Lepage and George Parr there, but it is gonna be Adam Lepage emerging ahead. Is that actually front wing? No. George has his full front wing, as we do see the Haas's double stacking. What are they doing? And it is, I think it was Harry Conway with a 10-second time penalty. Contact there between Bakalik and the Alpine of Jack O'Kane. Bakalik getting very squirmy there on the exit, making contact with the other Alpine of John O'Hearn. Bakalik wanting to make enemies today with the French team, as he is now P13, losing all of these positions that he had. As we might see a switchback there by Corey McSweeney. Corey actually not having the best of times in P12, which, if he is gonna finish this in this place, he is gonna lose the championship. So let me do calculations. If it's 18 points to win in the drivers, actually, if the admin is still in chat, did you count the sprint results as well? Did you count the sprint results? Okay, good. So 18. So Corey, to still have his championship hopes alive, he would need to finish P6. Yeah, P6 or P7 with fastest lap. P6 or P7 with fastest lap. He needs to finish. Which, currently not really on board with that. Is he currently in P12? But this is F1. You saw the sprint earlier on. Anything can happen because these people just don't care. They just don't care. I think if I'm gonna be stewarding next season, I need to be more strict, because people are just getting away with incidents like this, just driving so aggressively without caring about anything. And hopefully, if next season I'm gonna steward, I'm just gonna give everyone 10-second penalties for any contact they do, and hopefully they take it safe. Because this, I mean, I am all for carnage. My main thing about F1 is watching carnage. But F2 is just way too much. Way too much. There is a limit to aggressiveness that you can have. 10-second penalty for Andy Kong for speeding in the pits. That is not gonna be good for the McLaren, but they did have pace, both of them, over the course of the race, so you cannot discount him extending that gap to 10 seconds. So anything could happen. Anything could happen. They can extend that quite easily. They do have the consistency and the pace. And they will have clean air now as well. For a few laps. So we will have to wait and see. What was I talking about? I was talking about something. Ah, yeah, the aggressiveness. There is a limit to the aggressiveness that you can have. And F2 does not know it. F2 does not know the limit. And by my voice being already dead, and me not being able to speak in the middle of the main race, I think that that is just evidence that what these people, these drivers are doing is way too much. I cannot keep up. My poor voice. My poor voice. How am I gonna sing now if my voice is gonna be gone? Nah, my singing is atrocious, so maybe it's gonna do me a favor by me losing my voice, because my singing is awful. Behind, let's get back into the race. Adam Lapidge getting overtaken by John Hearn. There in P8. I've already delved into this before, but if you don't know how points win positions work in the main race, it is from P1 to P10 as follows: 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. You also get a fast lap point if you're anywhere, not unlike the real racing, where you only get a point if you're inside the top 10. And yeah, match Snape, 3-second time penalty for the Sauber driver. And yeah, that is why I was saying that Corey McSweeney would need at least P6 or P7 with a fastest lap, which I don't think fastest lap is going to be on the cards, to still have hopes in the championship. Hello, Mohamed Mustafa. I can't even read. I'm sorry. I apologize. Mohamed Mustafa. There we go. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the race, to the very chaotic F2. But actually, this feature race has actually been quite calm, to be honest, compared to the sprint race. Maybe people are actually learning. Maybe. I hope they are. And that's lag for the Ferrari driver, lagging behind the Alpine, but still not being under pressure from the Mercedes of Adam Lapidge, the team principal. But we've already seen quite a few people heading into the pits. The medium runners still staying out, so I think we could see them heading into the pits around lap 13-14 window, so this lap or next lap. I was honestly expecting to see undercuts in lap 12, because undercuts are OP on this game. But it did say that tire degradation is also quite high on this track, so maybe they just want to preserve the tires to the end. Or my prediction from before, which maybe that's the reason of Steven staying out, is that rain is imminent. But looking how people behind are going on through the hards, I don't think we are going to see any rain. Maybe people were just tricked into believing that there was gonna be rain, and ultimately there is not. I do not know. I do not know, unfortunately. I think they really need to add that option for this. I think they need to change how spectating works on this game, because there are a lot of features missing, which in real life commentary you would have, like the weather data. Tire data, sure, they don't have that, but they introduced the AVS tire wear prediction, I think, and the battery prediction. Battery we do have, but the tire wear would be nice to have. What else? I think the weather is basically the main point, because they do have that at their disposal for the weather, and we do not in the game, so that would be a nice addition to have. And if I think of any other additions that I think would be nice, I am gonna say, actually, a incredible addition, changing camera angles on your own. Like what do you have here? I mean, I know they cannot do that in real life because it's separate. It's separate the commentating and the camera work because it's a track-to-track based, if I remember correctly. Because I know Monaco have their own camera crew, which is not used anywhere else, and I think in Silverstone as well. But for example, F1 Manager has these 6 different camera angles. Why don't we have that in the F1 game in spectating? Like, I would love to change the camera angle to have better view on the cars. Because some camera angles in this game are just atrocious. You cannot see anything. And to be able to change um, them yourself, it would bring so much freedom to the commentaries and the enjoyment from you guys watching as well. I think that's a way that they need to change, but as I said, the lap 14 could be a possible heading in point, and it is. It is, as George Park gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pits. Nearly colliding with the Aston Martin, actually, heading in, but thankfully I don't think he made contact, but just a little bit too fast. Heading onto the softs. What? Okay, what is this strategy? What? How? What? I mean, we did see Steven Bekovic staying on the softs for super long, but I did not think that the softs were viable in the strategy department. I thought you should be avoiding them, but seemingly not. Seemingly not. I mean, they do have the data from the sprint, so maybe they saw that in the sprint they weren't losing that much wear on the tires, so they just said, well, we can do a very nice medium to soft, which I was never expecting. Your voice is beautiful, thank you, Mohammed. I don't agree. I do not agree. I've said this actually a couple of times. I do not like my voice, and if you compare my voice to how I look, there are very big discrepancies and non-similarities. So yeah, I don't hate my voice. I just don't like it. I think it's a bit too high pitched. Too high pitched. As we are gonna see a move from Lucas Oates on Adam Bradshaw in the Haas, maybe even the Alpine driver, but he does stay behind, staying patient there. Oi oi! Welcome, Shots Ahoy! Virtual safety car. How? Who crashed? No one crashed. No one crashed. Fascinating. 10-second time penalty for HS Moore. I'm trying to see, but yeah, no one crashed. Everyone's still going. So that virtual safety car was a little bit too eager to come out. So yeah, as I was saying, welcome Shotsify to the stream. Hopefully you are gonna enjoy it, as you joined just in time to see the virtual safety car come out. And I think that was actually, I saw someone go into the pits. I think it was Callum Morris getting a very nice free pit stop there alongside everyone else as well. But I just realized what is happening here. Oh my god. I just saw someone going fully wide into cops. Yeah, that corner, not that's Adam Lapage. Fully stopped on the track. What? I'm confused. Why? Do we have a restart? Mitch Snape also goes into the wall, so I think we actually might have a restart. Cause it's a full on, yeah, it's a restart. It's a restart. Yeah, it's a restart. Oh, fun. Why? What's the... Okay, I'm gonna go explore what the reason is. Give me a second. 1 second. Un momento. Uno momento. Is it? No, it's not a restart. No one said that it's a restart. There's nothing in... There's nothing in F2 chat that says that it's a restart. Ah, no, there we go. I see it. I see it. Oh, Oh. 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 Seemingly we've had an intentional takeout. Oh. Well, the newly signed team principal of Ferrari is definitely doing some work. Maybe I should have stayed in that position, because in F3 we had a Ferrari. We basically had a sort of a crash gate, but it wasn't a crash gate. But basically, one Ferrari didn't pit, stayed out for a really long time. The other Ferrari crashed into a wall. Per se, it was by his mistake. He made a mistake, but on the stream it didn't look that way. So, and then that Ferrari who didn't pit got a free pit stop, won the race. And now we have this incident where another Ferrari crashes intentionally into another driver, which, for those who don't know, is a permaban from the league. So, bye-bye, George Parr. You will not be missed because of that intentional takeout. Those are not welcome. Not welcome at all in the league. Not welcome at all. So yeah. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. I think that actually gives me time to maybe do the virtual safety car. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna do that later. I'm gonna go check that later. So anyway, yeah, that is fun. Very, very fun. Let's take a look at chat if anyone said anything. Don't believe it, your voice is incredible. I wish I had a voice like yours. Those are very nice words. I really do appreciate it, even though I don't really agree, but it's nice to see people think that. It's very nice. Thank you for the compliment. Okay. Fascinating. So, for any people who are joining or just joined the stream, we have a restart because of a intentional takeout during the race, and we are gonna be heading on shortly when we figure out what to do. And yeah, I need to find a topic to talk. I've already spoken about food, if anyone... Maybe that's why Japan is so... So, for some reason, in this entire season, for some reason, the F2 Japan commentary that I also did is very popular. It has around 230 views compared to every other stream, which is around 100 views in every single tier. And maybe that's because I talked about food in Japan. I talked about my favorite kinds of food because I was hungry at that moment. So maybe that's why. And that was another sprint race as well. So maybe if I do that again, because we do have the Beef Wellington straight on the Silverstone circuit, so Coincidences, very big coincidences. But speaking of beef Wellington, I really want to try that. That meal looks so incredible. It looks so good. But yeah, I'm not gonna do the same topic of food. And I want to talk about. Let's see, what would be a pretty good topic that everyone could join in? If anyone has any topics, also be sure to say it in the comments, because I think that's one of my main. What's the word? My main disadvantages, is that the word? I don't know. I can't find any topics to start conversations, so I wait for people to start them themselves, because I know that my topics are usually quite shit, and I mainly that's because I more value the other person being interested and in talking about whatever they like, so we can talk for longer than what I like to talk about. Which is why I wait for other people to start conversations. Which is why I cannot find any topics now as well. We could talk about the Monza race I did talk last time. Oh, that's not the correct lobby. We did talk about last time about the switch from Logan Sargent with Franco Colapinto, which, speaking of, I think Colapinto did a pretty solid job in Monza. But I think we can't really count that race in, or in my opinion, because we did see other people making their debut in Monza, like Nick de Vries, for example, making their debut in Monza, getting points, and then being trash in the beginning of 23, which I do believe was incredibly harsh by Red Bull. I think he needed more time, at least a full season, and then sack him, because I think he was showing very good signs of improvement. And then people like Tsunoda are talking a lot about him and him being a huge impact to the whole team. So I think Nick de Vries was robbed, but they had an opportunity to put Ricciardo in. They had to take it, because they love Ricciardo with their whole lives. They would give everything to him, even though they're not giving him the Red Bull seat that easily. But yeah, I think we still need to give Colapinto time, because like I said, I don't think Monza is a good representation. I think Monza's good to get accustomed to the overall Formula 1 format, to the 3 practice sessions and the qualifying session, and then the long race, because, for example, rookies in F2 who get bumped up, like Colapinto in F1, the main difference is, of course, the car, and then the overall weekend, and how long the race actually is, because the F1 race is... the F1 race is twice or 3 times longer than the F2 race. So they have to get accustomed to that, because it's more... It affects more your stamina and you actually being able to finish the race. So Monza for that I think is perfect. I think it's a perfect ground. But to show your pace, I don't think it's a good track for that, because it's mostly straights. You have two chicanes, which were now made even easier because the curbs were flattened, and then Lesmo 1 and 2. I don't think those corners are difficult, even though we did see a lot of cars going wide in both of those. I don't think those corners are difficult, per se. I think people were just pushing too hard, trying to gain time, which makes sense. And Colapinto lost it in Lesmo 2, of course. But those corners I don't think are hard. And then Ascari. Ascari, I would say, is probably the most difficult corner out of all of them, because it's really fast, and that curb on the inside actually looked deadly, at least from people's perspectives. The car, when they touch it, that curb just looked to bounce so high up like a sausage curb. And then Parabolica, we did see Antonelli spin there and quite a few people making mistakes there, but I don't think that corner is that hard, because later down the line we didn't see anyone making a mistake there. So yeah, Monza, like I said, is not really a good representation of pace, which is why I think next time in Baku and Singapore, that's gonna be the place where we are gonna see truly where Colapinto is gonna stand compared to Albon. But like I said, it's good that he at least got some practice on how the overall F1 weekend works. And speaking of rookies, I want to talk a little bit about Gabriel Bortoleto, because if people haven't seen the F2 race, the feature race that he had, and the sprint race, so to give a little context, he crashed in his final, or he didn't crash, he spun in the final qualifying lap that he had. And if you actually don't know how F2 works, it's basically it's a practice session, then qualifying session, then the top 10 gets reversed in the sprint, and then that qualifying session actually is for the feature race. That's the gist of it. And basically, he started last because of his spin. There were a lot of red flags in the qualifying session. He started last. He got himself in the points paying positions in the sprint in, like, I think it was 15 or 16 laps that it was. So cooking, showing incredible pace already. And then in the feature, which is an incredible feat already. And then in the main race, in 9 laps, he already puts himself into P14 from last. And then there was a safety car. He got himself, I think, into P8 because of a free pit stop. And then he went on to win the race. So he literally did a last to first. He's gonna be on the same level because he's very close to getting that championship. And he's a rookie. So he's gonna be very close to doing something that only a few people have done, like Charles Leclerc and Piastri, to win F3 and F2 back-to-back. If he does that, if he's not on the podium, if he's not in the Sauber, at least, because that's the only seat that's available now, if he's not gonna be in that seat, that's gonna be a disgrace. Because there are rumors that Sauber is already looking at Bortoleto. So if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna be so angry, because Bortoleto deserves that fucking seat. Oh, I'm sorry, I swore. I'm sorry. But that just shows my reaction on him and how I believe that he has such a good future ahead of him. And that Sauber seat could not actually be that bad, because it's gonna turn into Audi in 2026, which firstly, it looked very bad, but now with the appointments of Binotto and Jonathan Wheatley, I think Audi is looking very, very good. So if Bortoleto goes into that Haas or into that Sauber, he could get 2025 as a learning curve, and then 2026 full-on push. I think that is how it's supposed to be done. That's my opinion on it, and I hope it's gonna be how it happens. And then we're gonna have like 5 rookies on the grid. We're gonna have Behrman, Antonelli, Liam Lawson. There are rumors that he's definitely being on the 2025 grid. Then Jack Doohan and Bortoleto. 5 rookies. When's the last time we've had 5 rookies on the grid? I remember 3 rookies in 2019. I don't remember 5 rookies. That would be an insane grid in 25, and I love it. I love it. So yeah, I hope that he gets a seat. Even if he doesn't win a championship, if he's gonna finish second, he still deserves that seat. Because he did need to get accustomed to it. because he is a rookie. I think Hajar has a little bit of an advantage because he's not a rookie. He's already been there for one season, and now this is his second season. But we do need to give everyone the benefit of the doubt because this car is new. The 2024 regs of the F2 car are new, so everyone needs to get accustomed to it. But I think being a rookie and getting that accustomed to it quickly is even more impressive. So, yeah. What's your reaction on Magnussen's race ban? I think he should have gotten it earlier, but I don't think he should have gotten it for that incident. That incident, the verdict was way too harsh. Way too harsh. I think that should have been 5 seconds and then 1 penalty point, not 10 and 2 penalty points, because even Gasly is saying that that's way too harsh and that he was gonna vouch for Magnussen to get that reverted, but it seems Haas is not. They're not appealing the verdict, so it seems they literally want him gone as soon as possible, even though he's helping them and helping Hulkenberg get a lot of points. They seemingly want him fully gone. Yeah, I think he should have gotten that ban earlier, but not for this incident, because this was way too harsh in my opinion. But now at least we're gonna see Ollie Behrman getting another chance, I think. It can't be anyone else than Ollie Behrman. And I watched some of his previous F2 races in Baku, and let me say, he is actually really good in Baku. I think he got pole position, sprint win, and feature win in 2023 in Baku. So if he can transfer that into F1, he's cooking. He's gonna be so good. But we still don't have any clarification on who's gonna replace Magnussen, but I think it's gonna be Behrman. There's literally no one else. They could put Pietro Fittipaldi because he is their reserve driver, but he got his chance in 2020. I don't think he's gonna get another one. He's not gonna get another one because they have Behrman, who's destined for that seat for 25 because he already has it signed. So I think it's Behrman. Anyway, finally, we are gonna go into the race. We are missing Lewis because of the DCs and the internet issues, and I think someone else we are missing, I do not know, but we are finally gonna go into the race. We did shorten the race, we put a sprint, but this is still gonna be counted, I think, as the full race. The points are gonna be halved, I believe, actually, but I do not know the rules. I would need to check that later to know exactly, because we don't really have these types of moments that often, so yeah. Do you think Norris needs to be a bit more aggressive, or McLaren now have to give more preference to Norris? Both. If Norris wants to win the championship, he needs to think a bit more selfishly. He needs to say like, team, you need to tell Oscar to give me the position. We're in a perfect chance for a championship. And for a little bit of context, I am a huge Piastri fan. But I do still think that Norris needs to be slightly aggressive because he is showing more consistency than Piastri, slightly. They are very much on the equal terms, but because Norris is and can battle for a championship, I think they need to fully focus on him. And that's where I come into McLaren being bottle jobs, where I don't think they care. I don't think they think they're in a drivers' championship fight. They only care about the constructors. They fully don't care about the drivers. I'm gonna get to that topic later on, because we are on to the restart for the British Grand Prix, and we are underway for the restart. 9 laps of this is gonna be held, as we do see Calamoris P1 because of the McLaren boxing before. And he is gonna take that lead on the mediums. I don't know if he did that before in the previous sprint, but a lot of people on the softs. As we do see behind, Mitch Snape unfortunately has been spun. I don't know if it was by his own volition or he made a mistake or made contact with someone else, but we do have some lag going on in this lobby. Very, very big lag. The Alpine of John Hearn is lagging hugely there. HS Moore on the outside into Laffield we saw, or actually a Spoon, I'm sorry. I did say I'm gonna call it Spoon. Did not make the move sticks, so Callum is still gonna stay there, but Callum is on those mediums. He is gonna be slightly slower now. But once those mediums get up to temperature and the softs start to wear out, those mediums are gonna be faster, definitely. As we see huge contact with Andy Kong and Lucas Hodes there. We saw it on a very good camera angle. Actually, behind now we also have a thing that is 4 wide, 3 wide now going into Stove. The two McLarens and the Alpine of Jack O'Kane. As that was Steven Beko is making a little bit of a mistake ghosting behind people, but yeah, whoever is the lobby host is very horrible. As I can't speak, there's so much going on. Connor Hawken making contact with Jack Cocaine there, nearly spinning both of them out. As you do see Corey's crashed! In the middle, there. That's not safety car, he's okay, that's not really a racing line, but if people go side by side there, that he would be killed. How is that not at least a virtual? I'm so confused. As we see Connor Hawken going down the inside into Spoon on Steven Trobin, and he's gonna make that move stick. Steven going wide. Easily could have been avoidable going wide. That is probably gonna give him warning, and he's not gonna be under pressure from Steven, who needs to claw himself back into the points paying positions, as he's gonna go down the inside of the RB driver there, still side by side. His teammate also making the move there on Andy Kong, and I think he made it stick, but Steven unfortunately is gonna have to stay behind, but he's gonna compromise it for a better exit, as I was gonna predict, but I was too late to predict it, and he's gonna have DRS and Slipstream. Round the outside, he could go on Daniel Bakalik, but Daniel just fully pushing him off, as now Jack O'Kane also joining this battle for 3 wide into Stove, but now Steven Trobin trying to go 3 wide into the final chicane, and he finally backs out of it, because that would have been a huge crash and spins for everyone nearly there. So thankfully he did make the smart choice, but he's making a not smart choice, because he's going down the inside into Abbey and makes contact, of course, with the Alpine driver. Bakalik front wing damage there, going deep into Village, under pressure now from the Alpine. 3 wide, they're gonna go onto the Beef Wellington straight, and he is still gonna go side by side into Spoon, as Bakalik, I know you have front wing damage, but you don't need to do that. And now he's doing Formula drifting stuff, drifting at the exit of turn 7. So yeah, quite chaotic beginning here of the race. So yeah, as I was saying before, I think McLaren needs to be more aggressive, because a championship battle is fully on, because they are Red Bull are fully down the pace and don't know how to fix it. And they need to use this to their advantage to win the Drivers' Championship. And they're not doing it. They're making very confusing strategy decisions, and they're not focusing on Norris, who actually has the best chance for the championship. But seemingly they're not doing it because they don't want it. And Norris is not being aggressive enough, which maybe he doesn't want it as well. I don't know what's going on there. I think it all delves into the mentality that I was reading before, that McLaren said, Zach Brown and Andrea Stella said that they have both drivers are number one drivers mentality, which if you have that, you're not gonna win championships unless you have an incredible car like Mercedes dominance car, where you just fully dominate, or 2023 Red Bull car. If you have that, then yeah, sure, you can have two number 1 drivers, because no one's gonna challenge otherwise for that championship except for the two guys in the same team. But I think they're fully bottling it this season. They are gonna get the constructors, but maybe even not. Ferrari is now back from Monza. Seemingly their upgrades are working, because Ferrari can now be in the fight. Cause I don't know, McLaren are just bottling it all around, but they're not bottling it in F2, as Steven Bakelis, the championship leader, has overtaken Connor Hawken for P6. And then the other Mercedes is right ahead of him, who has front wing damage. The left front wing end plate is missing, so he needs to work this quick if he wants to get even closer to the other train ahead, which we're gonna see if that's gonna happen. I mean, it would be crazy if Norris wins the World Drive Championship, because he didn't even have a race win before the start of the season. I mean, I don't really look at that, because I don't think you need to win to get a World Drivers' Championship. The main thing is consistency. Consistency is the main thing if you want to win the Drivers' Championship. You can finish second every single race, and the driver you're battling against for the championship can win multiple races, but then not score in multiple as well. And then you're still gonna get the championship, because you consistently just finished second, and second. And you could still get it. So you don't entirely need to win a race to get the championship, but it certainly does help. But the consistency is the main point, and I would know, because I not in this league, but I've won 2 drivers championships and 3 driver championships in another league, which I don't think I'm supposed to say the name, but it's a pretty famous league. So I think I would know best as well on what you need to win the championship. I know it's not like real life, because it's a game and it's a league, but at least it gives me some idea on how it works and what is required to win a championship. Yeah. I just think that McLaren still don't see that Lando can win the World Drivers' Championship when he can, and they just don't care. And he doesn't want to push them. And I'm fascinated by Hungary's voice message that the team said that you're gonna need Oscar to win the championship. And then they're not using Oscar for him to win the championship. Lando gave his win. Oh, that's a. How did Harry save that? So Lando gave his win in Hungary for Oscar, which McLaren bottled that, but yeah. And then they're not switching them for a podium in Monza. I think that just tells you everything you need to know. But it is going to be Harrisonic Moore making a move down the inside into Stove, pushing slightly the Alpine driver of Jonathan to the of the track, and Jonathan hugging the sausage curb on the inside, going into 16, fully discouraging his car, losing the back end of his car, and Callum Morris has overtaken him. Now Callum Morris has another chance for the lead. Now the softs should already feel the effect of the tire wear, them being 6 laps sold. Mediums should, in theory, already be better. As you can see, quite a better line there from Callum Morris down the inside, going into Spoon, using DRS and ERS to his advantage, and pushing him off the track, but still leaving a little bit of space, making contact with the Aston Martin, but has better traction. We've seen people doing that before, or not doing that, should I say, on the inside. It's usually been better. And he's gonna take the lead, but now he's gonna be under pressure from behind, because now he's not gonna have DRS, so we're gonna have to see if Harrisonic Moore is gonna be able to make that move easily. As now he's gonna be under pressure by Adam Bradshaw. What? Where did you come from? Okay. But now because of that, Adam Bradshaw has a horrible line going on to the Hanger Straight, and he is gonna be overtaken by John Ahern behind the McLaren of Andy Kong, team principal of the team, loses the car and is gonna be in P10. And now once again Adam Bradshaw is gonna go down the inside of John Ahern, but has to stay behind. You're a very knowledgeable person. You talk on every aspect of a topic. In F1 terms, yes. I love F1 and I don't have any bias. Like I said, I love Piastri, but mostly I like every single team. I like every single driver. So I don't have any bias. I talk facts. If Piastri has a bad race, I'm gonna say he's had a bad race. If he's slower than Lando, I'm gonna say he's slower than Lando. I don't have any bias. I look at the facts, and because I like everyone, I just say that, oh, they did a better job this time, or he was a little bit too aggressive. Like, for example, Oscar's move on Lando in Monza was slightly aggressive. Like Adam Bradshaw being slightly aggressive in Cops losing the back end. So yeah, when it comes to F1 topics, I try to just talk facts. And because I read a lot about F1. I read a lot about F1. Literally every single topic that comes to the F1 app, for example, I read. For example, now Perez is saying that Verstappen is having the effects of what he was dealing with for the entirety of the season, which is very fascinating, and it is sort of true. It is true. And yeah, I also read Gunther Steiner's book. I'm gonna read his second book when that comes out. I'm gonna read Adrian Newey's book as well. Those two books are on my radar, and then I need to read the the Pit Crew or Pit Engineer book as well, which I heard is really good as well. But my only book that I've read on F1 is the Drive, or the Surviving to Drive from Gunther Steiner. But I have a lot on my list, so I would say I'm very knowledgeable on how F1 works, and I love talking about F1. I've been a fan from 2018, and I've been very interested in every aspect of the sport. I'm never gonna grow tired of it. Even when there's no action on track and people are just driving slowly, I love watching that. I watched every single session of testing. I watched every 8 hours of testing. But speaking of that, of F1, 3 wide, Harris Van Moore down the inside is gonna take the lead of the race, and he could possibly be an Adam Bradshaw huge dive bomb from behind, but it is gonna be Harris Van Moore with wing damage, who's gonna take his first win in Season 8 of GRS. Behind, John Hearn is gonna finish P2, and Callum Morris is gonna finish on the final points, or final podium position, with Adam Bradshaw in P4. Very aggressive on moves, and finally actually having a good points winning position for the house driver. Stephen Beckwith is finishing P5. He's not going to take the championship in this race, but still, because of Corey McSweeney retiring, he's going to have a bigger lead to get it next time, perhaps in, I think it's Baku next time, or Belgium, I do not know. But still, a extension for Stephen Beckwith nonetheless. Which is good for him, and I think this now... No, actually, Williams is still gonna stay ahead in the constructors because it is Callum Morris in P3. So Williams, I think, still are gonna be better in that regard, but McLaren is still leading the drivers, so that is very nice. Indeed. So, like we said, Harris Van Moore takes the win of the British Grand Prix. John Ahern P2, Callum Morris P3, the final podium position. Adam Bradshaw P4, Steven Beckwith P5, Connor Hawken P5, Lucas Oates P7, Jack O'Kane P8, Zeke Lapage P9, Stephen Trobben P10, Mitch Snape P11, Andy Cohn P12, Daniel Buckley P13, and Corey McSweeney last in P14, sharing ADNF with Buckley. And you might see that it's a race, but it's not. We are done. We are done. We are done. We are not doing another race. But yeah, very, very fascinating stuff there. The sprint was incredibly chaotic, and the main race not that much, but everything was overshadowed when we got the intentional takeout incident with the Ferrari and actually Harrison Moore, because George Parr intentionally took out Harrison Moore, who actually won the race. So you gotta give props to Moore where props can be given, because that's actually pretty impressive. And you might hear from him now in the interviews, if he's gonna wanna do them. So, let us do that. Actually, I already forgot who was in the podium positions. I know it's Harry, John Ahern. Yes, there we go, John Ahern. John Ahern and Callum Morris. Harry, John, and Callum Morris. So yeah, let's see if anyone's gonna be willing to do interviews. We'll see. Okay, we are gonna get an interview from Harry Swanwick Moore. And we're just gonna wait slightly on if other peoples are gonna join. I'm also getting some confirmation that Callum Morris is gonna be disqualified. What? Fascinating.
Do you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much have I been robbed?
0?
0?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Well, I'm not really gonna comment because I honestly haven't paid too much attention during the commentary on what was happening, to be honest. I was talking a lot of garbage. So, yeah. That's why I said 0, because I don't know. Yeah, you have a good one. So yeah, it is actually gonna be Callan disqualified. Okay, I'm gonna put Steven to interview then, because he's gonna finish P3, and then we are gonna go with the interview. Sorry lads for the wait. Give me just 1 moment to confirm if... Oh no, it was Bradshaw P4. Oh. There you go. Okay, now we can finally start with the interviews, if people are here. We are gonna first talk with, of course, our race winner, Harry Swanwick Moore. Honestly, I'm gonna say I am hugely impressed by this win. For me, it came out of nowhere. You went from being killed by George Parr as an intentional takeout, and then winning a race in GRS. Is this your first win? And tell me how does it feel?
Yeah, it's my first win in GRS. Yeah, it feels actually quite great, to be fair. Never actually won a race before, just got tons of podiums.
Indeed. Like I already said before, you were the victim of the intentional takeout. How does that take or change your mentality when you head into a restart into the main race? Do you just try to tell yourself, now I need to do better, or something similar of the sort?
Well, at first I didn't even know that I got taken out. I thought I steered into him and then put myself into a wall.
Mm.
And then I got ping saying that there was a restart. So then I thought, all right. And then they said that I was starting from lap 15. So I was going to start from P3. So I thought if I just sit behind the leaders, I can then save my battery and then on the last lap, just send it.
Indeed. This was the second sprint race of the season. Did you do Japan?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I got taken out in that as well.
Yeah, of course. I think I should remember because you were driving for my team for Ferrari, but I wanted to ask, how difficult is it to keep calm in a very long race? For example, you have one quali and then a sprint and then another quali and then another race. How hard is it to stay concentrated and consistent over the course of every single session?
I would say it is hard because you've got to think about your tyres and how many tyres you're using, if you're going to save any for the race. So I'm always thinking ahead about my strategy for the race, not for the sprint.
Okay then. I think that's gonna be it for the questions. Again, I want to congratulate you on the win, and I wish you good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, Dana.
And next is gonna be the second finisher, sharing the podium, John Ahern. How are you doing? First of all, congratulations on the podium, and tell me, how does it feel? You, of course, actually missed some of the races in the beginning of the season, so you are a returning driver, I believe. And how does it feel to get a podium?
Yeah, it's very good. I didn't miss any races actually.
Ah, you didn't? Okay, then that's my mistake. I do apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm gonna ask you the same question as Harry. Do you have any different changes in mentality or how you approach these types of sprint events? And how hard is it for you, for example, or how you approach these sprint events is my question.
Well, I didn't touch the game in a week, so I didn't really do any practice. Then in the race I had about 6 or 7 people screaming in my ear at the same time, so it wasn't really the greatest thing.
Well, that wasn't the answer I was expecting.
Okay.
But so basically, just go in without practice and hope for something to happen, which it did.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, you in the beginning of the season, if I remember, you drove for Sauber, and you've switched to Alpine. So, is there any change in mentality of wanting to prove to Alpine that they made a good choice of signing them, or of getting signed to their team?
No, not really. I just wanted to have a new challenge, try and get Alpine up the constructors.
Good answer. And to be honest, Alpine is looking quite on the up, looking at every single tier. So that is going to be it for my questions. Again, congratulations on the podium, and we hope to see you here again for the rest of the season. And that is going to be it for the interviews. We unfortunately are not gonna have Callum Morris because he's gonna be disqualified for using the wrong set of tires in the race, and Adam Bradshaw, who is gonna inherit that position, is not gonna get the interview, or he doesn't want to be interviewed. Actually, is the correct term. So we are gonna just finish things here. So, finally, a few words before everyone heads off to sleep. And already go before getting, or if they haven't been tired of my voice. I hope that you enjoyed today's race and the commentary, and there are some links in the description where you can follow us on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to keep in touch with the GRS, if you miss some of these streams, we are currently reworking stuff, so it's not gonna be as active as it usually has been. So once that is gonna be back in line, you can watch us there. We do post quite a few shorts now as well. Some of the famous moments from the league, funny moments, bad moments, just any very interesting ones. And then of course there's a link to the Discord. If you enjoy the race and you want to participate in the racing, we have 3 tiers: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time, all of them, and you can apply. Mid-season signups are open and the tracks are Miami, Netherlands. When you sign up, you're gonna be put in the tier where your designated pace is, or where your designated pace lies. And yeah, if you don't want to race, you can also sign up for staff roles. So basically help us out in stewarding, commentating, driver recruitment. Then there's stuff like other stuff which I forgot. I think it's like lobby host and then event host. So you can sign up for that. Or if you don't want to do any of that, you can just talk to the drivers in the channels. You heard some interviews from them now, and you can see that they're very friendly. They literally like to talk about anything. And yeah, I think that is everything covered. The only thing I didn't say that if you want to, you can leave a like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out to make better content for you guys and better videos, and gives us more motivation to do stuff like this for you guys. So yeah, once again, hope that you enjoyed the race and the commentary today. My name is Kickerlin, and you have a good one and have a good night.